Death just happens. Death never bothers to ask you if you're ready or give you a heads up so you can say your goodbyes. Or does it, but we just refuse to acknowledge it. Every time someone close, someone I have known, loved, lived with, someone who has somehow become a part of my being, dies, a little of me changes. Few years back, my uncle passed away unexpectedly, and that changed my life. I started questioning everything in life. Due to the circumstances at that time, with my job, and more importantly, it would have taken me a day and a half to reach him, or should I say his body, because his consciousness had already left his body. Since I could not attend the funeral, I just imagined that he was living, but he just wouldn't talk to me. As illogical as it may sound, that was my coping mechanism, just so I could handle the situation better, which did work for me at that time, but after a while, that too stopped working. Living in denial was not something I wanted to continue. After the initial shock of his death, the reality set in. I realized that I would never be able to see him or meet him again. I also knew that I needed to work on myself, for I was not accepting things as they were. My sister-in-law taught me how to rethink death. She said the soul lives past the end of the body, and he did not die, he was reborn. The words made sense, but to really understand the meaning took me some time. I had never given death any serious thought. I was so busy living that I had no time to think about death, but this got me thinking about death deeper than I ever had, and how I could better deal with loved ones passing away, because the pain I felt was debilitating. It was what it was, and there was nothing that was going to make it better. But I still needed to pick myself up and continue living in a world without him or his physical presence. Maybe others' death reminded me of my own pending death. But somehow the thought of myself dying does not scare me, nor does it make me sad. It's the death of loved ones that I fear. Why was I afraid of the death of others and not of myself? I guess it is because when I die, I am not missing from myself. I won't miss myself, but when the other dies, the other is missing from me. A shift started happening within me. After some time, the feeling of loss slowly transformed into a feeling of consciousness. One who is born has to die. That is the wheel of life. In fact, we are approaching death every day from the moment we are born. Every birthday celebrated is 1 year closer to the day we die. A dear friend had shared this analogy. He said a fetus is comfortable when it is in its mother's womb, and it feels cozy in there because it is familiar and comfortable, and that is all it wants because that is all it knows. If the fetus is too afraid to be born and to come out into the world, and instead chooses to live inside the womb, then it would never know the beauty of this world as we know it. As the death of my loved ones embraced me, I started decluttering my mind, my heart, my body, my soul, and my life, unburdening myself of anything that no longer served me. And it is a work in progress, for death is the final declutter. The best gift we can ask from our loved ones is that they live their life totally, with intensity and passion, without any regrets, so that when they are gone, we can celebrate their life instead of mourn their death. Naturally, we will feel sad for our loss because they will no longer be with us. They will no longer be in our lives as we move forward. But we can choose to celebrate the life they have lived instead of mourning their death, for they will not cease to exist. They will just cease playing the current role. Easier said than done, but how else do we continue living our lives when we miss them so much, especially when the whole family gets together for a wedding or for an event? I know how much we missed him at my sister's wedding, and I know how much we miss him when we go back to India and whenever our family gets together and he's not there. And I guess we will always miss him. With that, let us unburden our hearts. Let the tears flow. Let us pray that we have the strength to bid them adieu, and let the beautiful memories they have left us with be the gifts that we cherish. Every breath we take is a gift from existence. So have authentic experiences that resonate with you, or find resonance in the experiences you have. For when you start living life knowing that you are not immortal, you start living life more consciously with greater awareness. By making space for death, you begin to pulsate to the heartbeat of the universe, living more fully in the here and now.